Hi, Julie here with Just Plain Fun, and today I'm going to show you a new block in the series that I'm working on this year. And this particular block is a double-sided block, just like the last 15 are. And this one is called the paper shutter block. And you're going to need to download the instructions to get them. And the instructions have, of course, the instructions, the diagram that you're not actually going to see this particular page in the video because I altered it after making the block and after filming all the stuff. And you're also going to get the standard note page that you can use when you want to build your block. All right, so here is the block. This is the front. And this is the back. All right, so I'm going to show you how I made this. And let's get started. So what you're going to need to do to make this particular block called the paper shutter block, you're going to need the instructions. There's templates to go with it, but to be honest with you, I didn't bother using the templates. This one was really easy to figure out. I just cut a 3 7/8 inch piece that was a little bit longer than I needed to be. This says 7 1/4. I actually doubled that and added an inch, and then I just basically cut this out and did a 45-degree angle to cut this, and I've got all my pieces. It was really simple. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I've already layered this piece because it's double-sided, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do my quilting on this before I go on to the next step. All right, so I have gotten it all stitched, and now I just need to trim it up so that it actually equals 3 7/8 square. So I will go do that right now. That's been trimmed up, and the next step are to do these two. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, basically what I do is this will get stitched onto here, and this piece here will be stitched on to here like this, a 1/4 inch seam, and then this will be zigzagged right here, and I'll do that with both sides, and I'll go do that right now. Here's what it looks like when you stitch them on both sides. Here's the batting. It's been stitched with a zigzag stitch and this one has been added to this side. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these up like this and glue them down before I go on to the next step, which is adding this triangle over here. So I just wanted to show you that before I continue so you know what I'm doing. This is a zigzag stitch. The stitch width is 4.0. No, it's 6.0, and the stitch length is 4.0, and I did this as a scant 1/4 inch seam with a stitch length of 3.0. Okay, be right back. I've decided that I'm going to be changing some stuff around. The way I cut them was backwards. Okay, fine. The easiest way to compensate for that is just to turn these over. So this works now. It works for me. I don't really care because pink and green go together anyway. So this will be fine. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what it looked like before I did my quilting. And what I'm going to do for the quilting on this one is I'm going to follow the seam line, and I'm going to just continue in this pattern, but only doing 1/2 inch apart instead of both ways. So I'll go do that, and I'll be right back. This section is complete and ready to be joined to these two pieces. And I'm going to continue doing it in the same manner. And in case you're wondering, in case you haven't seen these videos before, I use Elmer's liquid school glue, washable school glue, to actually put the pieces together. And I use glue stick to actually glue the fabric to the batting. I don't use spray starch. I mean, I do use spray starch, but I use a special starch. And you can use fusible batting if you want to. I'm using 100% cotton batting for this. I use strips for batting, and the kind that are made for jelly rolls. And I also use big sheet batting, like I'm cutting off of a queen size batting for this. So it's just 100% cotton. So watch my other videos. You'll see how I'm actually doing this. And now I'm just going to show you each section as I finish it. On to the next. All right, those pieces are together, and now it's time to do the corners. And so I will go ahead and do that. Let me show you what it looks like on this side. Looks pretty nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next one, which will be these. Actually, yes, 6. And then this will be 7. So I'll be right back. All right, it is almost done. Just got one more corner to do. And wanted to point out that I know that it's not going to be exactly 10.5 inches, but it is so close that the little mistake is like a 1/16 of an inch off, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this corner, and I will be right back. Okay, the block is all stitched, ready to be trimmed up to the 10.5 inch size. And I do that with a turntable. Well, it's one of those rotating cutting mats. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that and be right back. It is completely done. Not going to bother with stay stitching since the quilting goes all the way to the outside edge. It is a little bit, tiny bit small, but believe it or not, all of this stuff is within the seam allowance. So when I add it to the sashing, to the quilt, it'll be fine. So here is a tip. Make the pieces larger than the instructions say. That way you won't run into the same problem that I did. These two were fine and this one was fine. But these here, you're going to want to make them a little bit longer this way and just a little bit wider this way. And I did use scant seam allowances, but I think what happened is the quilting. I did too much quilting. Maybe if I did less, it wouldn't have shrunk up as much. So anyway, and these fabrics were washed and starched. Well, not necessarily washed, but they were starched. And so that's it. That's the last of this. I hope you found the secret code for this particular block. Go get the 20,000 points and redeem it for whatever thing you want on the website at jpfun.com. And thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I put another block on YouTube. Okay, until next time, thank you and have a great day. Goodbye.